Hello, I'm Mark,
I'm Casey.
And I'm Patrick.
and today on the Tesla Life Express, we're going to talk a little bit about some Tesla security and how it may work or it may not work, depending on what you're trying to protect. But first, roll that title.
You're watching the Tesla Life Express.
Thanks, everyone, for joining us. And just a note to Patrick, intros were great today. All worked fabulous.
Cool.
But we wanted to talk a little bit about today is this security note that was put out there. This week, it was reported by a Fox News station. We'll put the video in the link below if you'd like to see it. But this story was about a gentleman who lives in the Bay Area of California who was on his house on a street where he started to notice that there have been some unsavory people wandering around, looking at vehicles. A few vehicles had been stolen in his area, similar to his vehicle, which of course was this, he has a Tesla and he also has a Ram pickup truck. And if you've heard about this, Rams are real easy to steal for car thieves. They've got the ability or the non-ability that these trucks can easily be defeated with the key fob, and they can be started with a computer quickly and driven out. So this gentleman, anyways, he knew these problems that the Ram pickup truck had, but he wanted...
Ram boys? Like the Kia boys?
I'm sorry, Casey?
Is this the Ram boys, like the Kia boys?
I don't know.
Yeah, Kias were targeted for a while because they had a similar flaw that made it easy for thieves. Yeah, weird. There are rings where when one of these exploits is figured out, they share the information and it goes all around the world. And if you've got one of those vehicles, I don't envy you because the odds of it being swiped go up significantly once the exploit's known.
Yeah, some of the Kia and Hyundai owners were getting dropped from their insurance because of it.
Oh wow, that's just rude of the insurance companies.
Yeah, exactly. They were requiring you to change the security system in the car, otherwise it would drop your insurance.
Okay, yeah, as long as you have a recourse of upgrading your security, that's okay.
Yeah, a little better. Anyways, here's a photo that came from Fox News that did the story. So this gentleman knew there was this type of activity happening in his neighborhood, and he wanted to protect his Ram truck. So he decided that he would take his Tesla and park it in front of it, knowing that the Tesla, of course, extremely hard to steal compared to these trucks and Kias and others. I would say that he maybe didn't try quite hard enough, that he wasn't quite as close, but that could be a sidewalk we're looking at, and it may be illegal, of course, to block the sidewalk if that's indeed what is in front of the truck. But what happened here was that, and you can watch the video, the car thieves got into the Ram truck and were able to quickly, move back and forth, and then drive over the grassy front yard around the Tesla and stole the truck. The gentleman actually had the ability to track where the truck was. He had some sort of a transponder in the truck that he could follow it, and he actually phoned police on his way and followed the truck to an unsavory part of town where he staked it out for a few hours, waiting for the police to show up, that ultimately did not. He was unable to get police help to arrest the criminals. But eventually, he did get his truck back after he talked to Fox News, and they contacted the police. So this became a story about police not responding to theft, even though he had the proof of where the vehicle was, and that nobody that owned the vehicle had it. And it was in an area of town where a lot of this type of activity happens, unfortunately. But
at least they didn't drive over the Tesla with the truck.
Yeah, that would have been really bad if that had been the case, because then you're dealing with insurance on a whole different level, wouldn't you be?
You mean your truck hit your Tesla and you weren't driving either of them?
Yeah.
Right.
Looking at this photo, I thought that's for sure where you were going to go, because they've got enough where they could just get at some speed and ram the rear of the Tesla and take off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess at least they were polite enough not to ruin his Tesla. That's one small plus, I guess. I'm so just
that was trying to protect their vehicles with one of the vehicles, and it's interesting that, of course, they were protecting it with the Tesla because, of course, they're inherently hard to steal. If you were to, first of all, you can put in a PIN code to lock out someone, even if they got into the car and somehow were able to get it jacked to start. If someone had stole your phone, for example, or something along that line, where they could get into the card, or maybe your key card, that they took that, having a PIN in it would prevent anyone from driving away with it.
On this one, I started using PIN to drive when my local service center at the time, I was on my world travels. The local service center lost 3 Model S's, and only 2 people were caught. But all 3 cars were caught at the same time, which tells me that somebody escaped. And however they were able to pull this off, that person was still out there able to educate others. And so I put PIN to drive on my car, and then I had a service appointment not too long after that and found that they had put PIN to drive on their cars. So that said, they probably did get them from the service center.
Okay.
And also, you can put a separate PIN, or the same one, but I would recommend a separate PIN on your glove box so they can't get in and figure out where you live if they happen to get into your car while it's not at home. Because your insurance,
that's a good point,
registration, and all,
and have a different PIN, even better.
Yes, exactly. Because then if they figured it out, they still have to figure out how to start the car. There was a flaw for a little while where if you disconnected the battery, that would clear the PIN, but that is gone. I've changed my battery several times, and I've not had to reset the PIN.
That's good. Yeah, and see, that little thing like that is something that thieves would figure out and then would share in their network. And Tesla does things like take their vehicles to pwn-to-own events where you have people hacking them. And if other car manufacturers did that, they would find these exploits before it becomes news and before they have angry customers with stolen cars. Instead, they would give a vehicle to a hacker who won the contest, and they would get all that information about all the exploits that they could then fix.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then one of my early videos was similar to this. Tesla made it so you had to put in your account password before you could reset the car or remove. They added it later, so you also couldn't remove PIN to drive without your account password, which makes it that much harder because if you have a good account password, it's going to be hard to guess, and it won't match up with the PIN at all.
Right.
Yeah. That's good news, certainly for Tesla owners. And of course, obviously, this gentleman in the story reported here, he knew that Teslas were tough to beat. And, I do question the knowledge of putting your vehicle in front of a truck that somebody's trying to escape in a quick manner. Like, as Patrick mentioned, that could be a recipe for disaster. But it didn't happen in this particular case. But if he was really trying, and again, the sidewalk might have been the thing, but probably put up almost right up to the bumper would probably be the best way to protect that truck from leaving, unless he was going to take the Tesla with him on the way out. So, but that's going to diminish the Ram's value, I'm sure. So that's something that. Yeah.
I'm sorry. What was that, Casey?
I said they might only be looking for parts or joyriding.
Oh, right. And then they don't care if they have some bumper damage unless that was the part they needed.
Right. We need the chrome bumper.
The worst part for this story to me was that the guy said, he calls the cops and says, my truck's been stolen and I know where it is. Please help me. And they're like, nah. What? Come on.
Yeah.
And then if you get the media involved, then you get better policing. Again, that's not how things should work. But
nope.
It shouldn't.
Yeah.
No, it's but with some of the lax policing or is it policing or lax penalties that are happening that allows crime to perpetuate a little bit more in these days? Is that what's stopping this, or overloading police departments with work they really can't handle as well? But the squeaky wheel does get the grease, and that's what happened in this story.
We were seeing this also with the Kia Boys situation, where they wouldn't come to help you when your car was stolen, but they also wouldn't take your car off of the stolen car registry. So you're just driving along, minding your own business, and then next thing you know, you're in cuffs on the ground for driving your own car because they thought you stole it. You look like somebody would steal the car, according to whoever pulled you over.
Wow.
These people have had nightmare after nightmare. Not only was your car stolen, now you're being accused of stealing your own car after you finally get it back.
After you finally get it back, you're arrested for stealing your own car.
Yeah, I've heard of people who rent Hertz cars and have been arrested for stealing it. And they're like, no, I rented this, but because it hadn't been checked in properly, Hertz reported it stolen, and then boom, you get pulled over and arrested.
Oh my gosh.
My advice with the Hertz situation was always never extend your Hertz, just get a new one.
Yeah, because you're scared that you might not put in the computer that you've extended the rental.
It's happening for most of them, yeah.
Oh
man. That is brutal. Absolutely brutal. Well, that's kind of interesting. In the comments, what do you feel could be some other exploits that could help people from getting their cars stolen? What else? I know that in my neighborhood, every once in a while, I see a vehicle with one of the old-fashioned clubs attached to a steering wheel. So I haven't seen one of those in a little while, and I just saw one last week. So every once in a while, you see those. But how are things in your neighborhood, and what would you think outside of a Tesla? What do you think they could do to help prevent this? Put it in the comments. Love to see it.
We've got the door pullers around here, and this also reminds me another story I heard recently. I showed it on Sunday on the Let's Chat with Casey and Friends show, where the Rivian R1T is very much like, and the R1S as well, is very much like the Tesla, where you can tell if it's locked or unlocked if you don't change the default settings. And so this R1T was just sitting there with the handles out. Hey, grab me, open the doors, and the mirror's out. And this guy's just zooming by and like white speed. He brings the vehicle to a stop, reverses real quick, runs out, opens the door, grabs the portable boombox speaker from the console, and then drives off with the guy shouting, "Come back with my stuff!" So that's another thing to be cognizant of with your security posture.
That is somebody that knew the ins and outs of a Rivian for sure. Like obviously that probably isn't his first boombox robbery.
Right. But that's not just the Rivians. A lot of other cars do this handles out deal, and there's also the mod we can do with the Model 3 and Y where the handles come out, and then there's the Model S which has the movable handles where
the club
on a Tesla.
That's great.
Another thing to be aware of is that if you've turned off the data sharing feature, you might not be able to track depending on how you did it, you might not be able to track your Tesla and share that with the authorities to go retrieve your car. So you want to weigh your privacy with your convenience in that case, because if you've turned that off and something happens, you might not get it back.
One thing I would do with a nice car is to buy yourself, if you have an Apple phone, is to buy yourself one of those tracking Apple items, those little keys, just to drop somewhere in an inconspicuous spot in the vehicle.
Like an AirTag?
An AirTag, exactly. Yeah.
Get a couple of them. When they find one, they think they got you, and then you get another one.
They're cheap, and they are effective. So
yes,
I would definitely do that. But with that, I think we will wrap it up. Of course, it's Monday. The live show is coming out on Wednesday, just a couple days. So if you haven't already, please give us a thumbs up. Press that subscribe button. The YouTube algorithm will alert you anytime we upload a new video with that bell rung. And we will catch you soon and talk to you again on the Tesla Life. Good night, everyone.
Stay positive.